Hey folks, welcome to our next exit. We're here in Northern Virginia and we're headed down to Florida for the winter, and we're kind of looking forward to that. We've got some friends from Nevada that we used to work with that emailed us the other day, and they're planning to come down and meet up in Key West. So that's going to be fun, and we've been to Florida before, but just for vacations, not for very long. So we're kind of looking forward to it. But Pearl and I started making a video a couple of days ago, and it was just kind of a synopsis of what's been going on the last month or so, kind of talking about our trip to New England and how much we enjoyed it. And it evolved into something else. It ended up, mostly what we were talking about is the people we've met and how much we've enjoyed meeting up with how much we enjoyed getting to meet these people and then meeting up with them again, which is really the icing on the cake. Because the first time you meet somebody, everybody's a little uncomfortable and it takes a little while to get to know each other. But meeting that second or third time really starts becoming real enjoyable. And it got me to thinking, in this RV lifestyle, can you really make long-term friendships? I mean, everybody's profile that they've got on Our Village or YouTube or whatever talks about traveling and meeting new friends, like-minded friends, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm sure a lot of people, if you've been doing it a while, you've met people and you have made some long-term friends. But as we were talking, I mean, last year we were on the West Coast and we met a number of people there, and only one or two of those people have we seen since. And then last winter, with our YouTube channel growing, we met more and more people, and we met people that I thought would evolve into lifetime friendships. But as we drift away and we get further away from them, and you don't see them, the emails get less and less, and you don't see them, and those acquaintances it just drifts away and dissolves. And right now we've got a number of folks that we've met this year that we really have enjoyed their company and their friendship. But now we're headed down south, and a lot of them are not full-timing yet. And so we've kind of left them up in the cold northeastern part of the country, and they're going to start RVing next year, but we may never see them again. And now we're emailing and still talking and updating. And chances are those emails will become less and less often, and those friendships will just, fade away, become distant memories. But I think most everybody that tries this lifestyle is looking to make these friendships. And that's something I wanted to just kind of briefly talk about, is can you do it? We'll know more in a couple of years. Do we have any of these friendships that have grown and become long-term friends? Or are they all just kind of passing as we go through different parts of the country? So I don't have an answer. I don't know that answer. We haven't been doing this even 2 years yet. We've got a number of people that I think that we've met 2 or 3 times that I think I'm comfortable calling friends. But next year we may not have a clue where they're at or even remember their names. You never know. And it's one thing to think about. If you're somebody that is looking for to make new friends on the road, yes, it's easy to meet these people, and you make friendships or you make acquaintances fast and pretty easy. But getting them you have to work at it to nurture them and to get them to develop into these long-term friendships. And it gets kind of lonely sometimes on the road. In talking to one couple, we got an email, they've had some mechanical troubles, and they talked about they were stuck in a town for a week or so, and it made them think about giving up the full-time lifestyle. And Pearl and I have thought about giving it up. Sometimes it's just the two of you and there's not anything exciting to do, and you think, I don't know if we want to continue this. Maybe we'll go back and be close to the kids. But then you go to that next location, you meet somebody new, or you're going and doing some fun stuff, and you say, oh no way, this is way too much fun. So anyway, it was just a thought I was having. I'd stick on the front of this. One couple that we've met is and that we did the video with, you've seen them in a couple of our videos, is Pat and Chris that we met up in Bar Harbor. And we're going to go down to Chesapeake Bay they've been following us all the way from up in Maine all the way down, and they've been about 70 miles. They're staying at military bases. He's retired military. And they've been about 50 to 75 miles, you know, all the way down from where we're staying. We've been closer to the coast, and they've been kind of inland about 50 or 100 miles. And so we're getting about 50 miles apart next week. So we're going to go have lunch with them and just see how they're still enjoying the lifestyle, and just to get to catch up a little bit. And we'll probably see them in Florida. They're going to that R Village rally next March, and we're thinking we may go to that. So anyway, we may get to meet up with them again in Florida, but we've enjoyed meeting them. They're not sure which way they're going to go next, and nor we don't know either, if we're going to stay on the East Coast or if we're going to head over to the West Coast. We've kind of taken Alaska off of the list. I don't think we're going to do that. We're either going to stay, I think, down in the Carolinas and stuff, or the eastern part of the country, in central or southern part of the East Coast. But it's just something I want to talk about, and it, as our video that we're fixing to show you, you'll see it evolves more into us talking about our friends and meeting them again and again. And just, I'm sure all of you have those same thoughts. You want to get out on the road and you want to meet new friends and hear new stories, and it's a large part of this lifestyle. But it's something you have to work at. It, at least for us, it doesn't just happen. Meeting people just happens, but turning it into a friendship takes a little bit of work. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in a little bit.
Hello everybody. Welcome to our next exit.
Hey folks, we're here at Chestnut Lakes in New Jersey, about 50 miles north of Atlantic City. And it's a nice little campground here. We enjoyed this. We met up some friends of ours that we've met 4 or 5 times around the country, Tom and Laura, and they just left a couple days ago. And we're going to hook up with them here, I think, what, tomorrow. We leave tomorrow. And yes. I think they're going to be down in Harbor View. That's where we're headed, in Virginia. We left Roundout Valley about a week ago, and Roundout Valley kind of turned into a place where we met a lot of folks. Yeah. We kind of wanted to talk about our trip to New England. This was a big bucket list item for Pearl, and we spent the last couple of months up here.
Yes, and it's a beautiful area, and the colors are absolutely gorgeous.
When we left Maine, we hit it just, maybe a couple of days later it could have got a little better, but we hit it just about right. But Rondout is where we've, it's not our favorite part, and really I probably wouldn't go back there again, but it's great for us because we went there twice, and every time we met somebody new, folks that we've met before would be traveling across country, and they stopped in there. We had Don and Lynn. They're a couple of retired law enforcement officers from Texas.
Yes.
And we met them there, and then back up in Maine. They went and scattered out the colors and give us a little direction. They talked us into coming up to Bar Harbor. And Jeff and Lori, we first met them at Timothy Lakes. We did an interview. Most of these people that we're going to name off, we've done interviews with. And if you want to see them, there's some great, they're all folks that either are currently full-time RV lifestyle, or they're on the verge. You're going to go this spring, summer, or fall full-time. So we'll put a link up here in the top corner, and there's like 5 or 6 interviews that are, I think you'll find really interested if you're interested in the RV lifestyle. But Jeff and Lori, we met up with them several times. Will and Ellie, we first met them when we was at Roberts in Indianapolis.
Hi, Ellie. Good visiting with you guys. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, keep in touch.
Okay, please do.
See y'all later.
Bye-bye.
Take care, Will.
Drive safe.
And they're going to come, we're going to Florida for the winter. They're going to come down and meet us at Orlando the end of January. Tom and Chris, they live in Philadelphia. They drove over. Really, they didn't come to Rondout Valley. They drove over to at Hershey, and they went to a campground close by, and we went and visited with them, did an interview with them. But the reason I'm bringing them up is when we were at Rondout. No, when we were here at Chestnut Lakes. They live in Philly. We're about 50 miles from Philly.
Right.
50 or a little further. I think we're closer to 80 or 90 miles from Philly. But we went over and they took us on a tour through the historic district in Philadelphia.
Yes, and it was a great, great day. A little chilly, a little windy, but the things that we saw, the places that we went, got to go see the Liberty Bell, which we'd never seen before.
They set up a private tour. Had somehow got a ranger to give us a tour of the first Supreme Court and the first Senate or House, whatever they had back then.
House representatives.
Yeah. What is this called, Tom?
Reading Terminal Market.
Reading Terminal Market? Oh, it is pretty big. There in the historic district, they've got this great big building, I guess you'd call it, but it's huge, full of food outlets.
It used to be a railroad terminal.
Okay, it's called Reading Terminal. Yeah. And the best Philly cheesesteak, they said, is at Carmen's there at Reading Terminal. And that's not only the best Philly cheesesteak, it's the best sandwich either one of us ever had.
Ever. It was fantastic.
And,
Was it good?
I didn't tell you this yet, I got an email this morning from Chris. They're going to go full-timing next summer. You'll see if you watch their interview, they've got a fifth wheel. And they plan on selling their house, downsizing, and going full-time. And they're going to be camp hosting this fall in a place called, I got it written down here, I can't pronounce it even when I read it, Assateague State Park, and I think it's in, what did I say, Maryland?
Maryland.
So that's good. So they're definitely taking those first steps to the full-time lifestyle. Who else did we meet there?
In Rondout?
Yeah. Chuck and Cheryl.
Chuck and Cheryl.
They've got the a YouTube channel called Get Gone With Us.
Hey, welcome to our channel. I'm Chuck.
And I'm Shara.
I just took an early retirement last August.
And I'm going to be retiring this August.
We're about to start a brand new chapter in our
They
lives.
do all these RV adventures, climbing down into old mines, caves.
And ghost towns, going to see ghost towns. And
so you might want to visit their channel. A lot of you guys have gone and subscribed to them.
So they go to what is called tri-state points, where 3 states meet each other at a point. And
so at one time you can be in all 3 states.
All 3 states at one time.
And then there's one out west where it's 4 corners.
4 corners.
New Mexico and Arizona, I think, Colorado. I'm not sure what they are, but it's kind of a neat little, and then geocaching.
Oh yes.
So I think they are probably the perfect couple for the RV lifestyle with all the outdoor activities that they like to go and do. Full-time RVing, they have got just a wonderful set of adventures lined up for them. They start full-timing next spring. They're going home to sell their house and get that ready to sell, and then next spring they're on the road. And then we also met a couple, Jeff and Nancy, that live over in Philadelphia, and we tried to get Tom and Chris, Nancy and Jeff, and then us to all meet in Philadelphia and have lunch, because they're a couple. They're going to go full-timing both couples next summer, but Nancy and Jeff are off in New Mexico on a elk hunt with their kids, and they sent us some pictures. They got a humongous big bull elk. Yeah.
Bull.
And Jeff, there's up at 10,000 feet, and he had to pay. He's not quite as old as me, but he's not too far away. Him and his son packed down like 75 pounds of meat apiece from 10,000 feet down to their base camp. So it sounded like a wonderful thing to be doing, a bucket list item for me. But you get an old guy hiking from 10,000 feet carrying 75 pounds. Good job on you there, Jeff. So anyway, that's why we enjoyed Rondout so much. Like I said, we're in Chestnut Lakes now. Pearl Drive, she did a great job. I didn't do such a great job. The GPS and the billboards up on the road, or the highway signage, I couldn't get them to match up. I couldn't get exit.
Stay here.
Yeah.
So it's going to take us to the Holland Tunnel.
Okay. They asked you if you got numbers. It just didn't match. So it kept saying Holland Tunnel, and you'd have like 6 freeway lanes, and they'd go peeling off each way. I couldn't figure out which one to go, but was getting down to our last choice was the Holland Tunnel going into New York from New Jersey. And I know it's not, we're 12 foot 9 inches,
right.
And I don't know, I didn't at the time, but I knew that it was too small that we couldn't go through the Holland Tunnel. Well, come to find out it's 12 foot 6 inches,
Excuse me.
and there's no RVs allowed anyway, and there's no vehicles pulling trailers anyway, and you can't have over 3 axles. So we had missed by like 4
To the left, to the right.
rules that we couldn't get into her. So finally I said, Pearl, we got to exit. So we took an exit, and she's not real happy because she's doing the driving and having to do the stuff, and I'm telling her, I don't know. And so where'd you end up? What happened?
We ended up making a U-turn on a little triangle street that had...
Put that back like this. And there's this part right here that was the problem. I got a little bit of video. The dash cam got erased, so we don't have a good camera. But I had my regular camera, and I showed the backup camera because
Right.
she basically stopped in the street. You said my right front corner,
Gotta hit that truck.
yeah, you had to kind of cut in, and the left rear corner was the car. I got that on the backup. Kind of tight, huh?
Huh?
Kind of tight, huh?
Kind of tight. I just want to make sure I miss everything from the backside. Shit.
You're okay. Looky here. You're okay, son.
In 1/4 mile.
But I gotta turn.
left
Well, turn. That'll be
East
okay.
Runyon Street. Then take the ramp on the left.
Look how close that is. Okay, now
Good
what?
job, sweetie.
Go straight? What did it say?
This says turn left on that street there.
Really?
So we just showed that clip. You can't tell a lot about it, but you can tell from the sound of our voices that neither one of us was real thrilled about being there.
No, not
But
at
Pearl
all.
got us out. I mean, there's no doubt who's the real driver in our family.
Barely an inch. It was just...
But I got her back on the freeway. I didn't leave her stranded there. And we made it here. Everything else went smooth.
We did. This has been a good place. There's been many friends that have told us you should go here, or maybe you ought to look at this, and this is a great site to go see. And we did a lot of sightseeing going to Atlantic City. We also went to a small town that Tom and Chris
Smithville.
told us about, Smithville. And that was a really neat little place to go. I could imagine it would be swamped at Christmas time because of all the little shops and little boutiques.
Yeah, like 40 or 50 little shops. There's a lot of them are old-time homes and stuff that's been converted.
Yes.
And just all kind of stuff. It's really...
Interesting. It was cute. And for women that like to go shopping, it would have been fun if you'd have spent the day there. Of course, it would have cost you a pretty penny to have spent the day
Sure
there.
could have. Sure could have. But even in the car, driving in New York was not fun for us. So we grabbed some lunch, had a good time, and then came back to the campground. I washed the RV, first time in 2 or 3 months that I've got to wash the RV. And that was, as you know, an all-day chore. I still got to wax it, and I got to do the wheels. But I got the RV washed. So we made some progress. Supposed to rain. We leave tomorrow, and then the next day it rains. So hopefully we're all set up before the rain gets here.
Right. That would be nice.
But we've done interviews and met with several people that you guys have seen, and we want to give a little bit of an update because we've talked to most of these people pretty regular, either from the YouTube channel or emails, and some of them we talk on the phone. But George and Melissa, we got some emails from them. They have been up in this area most of the summer, but now they've headed down to Florida. And they were dodging that hurricane that came through just a couple of weeks ago. But they've made all that out. I don't think he said, but it sounded like in general they're headed maybe to the Mardi Gras or something. They're coming up through Florida, and I think kind of headed west. Or maybe they're headed to Quartzsite. I forgot where. But they're doing good. They missed the hurricane. And some of our reservations are down there where that hurricane hit. We're going to have to check and probably cancel some of those. Chuck and Cheryl, we talked about them. They're home. I got a couple of emails from him yesterday they signed up for our village, and so now as we check into our village, they'll see where we're at and their other friends that are members of our village. They are back in New Hampshire, right? Yeah, they live in New Hampshire. They're back up home. He got his coach. They got their coach washed and waxed already, but there's 2 of them, and they're 10 or 20 years younger than us, so they move a little faster. But they're planning on full-timing in the spring. Jeff and Lori, they leave the end of this month, going to Tennessee to visit family, and then they're taking and they've only got maybe 200 miles. They've got a Class A RV, and they've got 200 or 300 miles they've driven it. They've owned it and been living in it for 3 months maybe, but they're going to drive it down to Tennessee, and then they're taking it all the way over to Tucson.
Arizona.
Going to spend the winter in Tucson, so they're going to be pretty experienced by the time they get back. Don and Lynn, just talked to them about a week ago. They're headed down to Texas to get there in time for Thanksgiving with their family. And I don't know where they're headed next. We met up with them several times. Hopefully we get to see them again. Tom and Christina, just got an email from Christina this morning about they signed up for the camp hosting next October in Massachusetts. Is that what we said?
I don't recall.
Maryland.
Maryland.
Yeah. Todd and Nancy, they were one of our first interviews we did in Ohio, Jefferson, Ohio, and they've lived in their RV all summer, had their house up for sale. It just sold, and so they're going to rent an apartment. I don't know if I even told you that part, but they're going to rent an apartment, and they're working hard to pay off all their bills so they can go full-timing in the fall of 2019, and they're trying to get debt free, so they're still on track. We've got some friends. He used to work for me back in the casino business in Nevada, and he's the general manager of the Winners Inn and Casino there in Winnemucca. And they're going to come down and
He
meet
and
us.
his wife, Con,
His wife, Con, yeah.
are going to plan on coming down and meet us in Florida.
Key West. That's way down on the tip. We weren't going to go that far down, but if they're going to come down and that's where they want to go, then that's where we're going to go.
Right.
So we'll be looking forward to seeing them. And Will and Ellie, we met them in Indianapolis and then at Roundout, and they're going to come down. They're going to visit family in Florida, and they're going to come a couple days early so they can meet us there at Orlando, Florida, at the Thousand Trails. So that's kind of, you talk about being lonely or missing friends and family and all that stuff. It's easy to make friends out here, and the fun part is you seeing them, and then you go different ways, and then you get close and circle around and meet up again. You see them again in a month down the road and hear their stories, they hear your stories. So I would say our New England trip has been way exceeding expectations.
Yes, it's been great.
Yeah. And the Fall Colors was good, but the people we've met, and some of these are probably going to be lifelong friends, I think. We've really enjoyed that. We've got several people that we haven't even met yet that we communicate via email, and one of them's Steve and Jean.
Gene.
Steve and Jean from Oklahoma. We were supposed to have met them when we drove through from Texas, headed up to the Escapees rally, but we miscommunicated and missed them. But he just emailed me the other day. They live in Oklahoma. He flew up to Salt Lake City. He found the perfect Class A motorhome, a Beaver, which is a really high-end coach, and it's about the same age as ours, I think. And so he was ready. He was all excited. But he got there, and the slide had a pretty major water leak. The owner didn't, or said he didn't even know it. I don't know if he did or not. The dog's down here being crazy. Tell everybody hello and quit being so ornery. So anyway, he ended up not buying it. He was afraid of that water damage and that floor rot, which seems to be a pretty common problem. We had the same issue with our slide. There's a tile and plate a guy manufactured in Louisiana or somewhere, I forgot. But we ordered that and installed it, and if your damage is minor, ours is fairly minor, that takes care of the problem. About $300 or $400, I think. But anyway, Steve decided no. It's just floor rot, wood damage, water damage is just pretty serious, and I don't blame you. Probably a good call. But we're looking forward to him and Gene getting a RV so we meet up with them somewhere. Bruce and Sue, we haven't met them. Bruce emails me once or twice a month. He really is meticulous on doing his homework. They're going to retire and go full-time in, I'm thinking, about 6 months or less. He hadn't found his perfect RV. He wants just a couple of year-old Tiffin or some pretty nice coach, and they live in Miami. So we're hoping to get to meet up with them when we get there. So put it on your calendar, Bruce. We're coming for you. I'm thinking we'll be there in February sometime. Jan and Marvin, this is a couple we met at the Escapees rally.
Yes.
And we were hoping to meet them up in Maine, and we didn't. And we don't have an email address, and so we missed them. They already headed south. So Jan and Marvin, if you still watch the channel, shoot us here's our email, bobrpearl@gmail.com, and it's Bob R, not Bob and, but Bob R Pearl. Shoot us an email if y'all are still headed to Florida. We'd love to hook up with you guys again and see what you thought of Maine. We've loved New England. It's been way, way better than either one of us thought it would be.
Yes.
We wouldn't have been here if you hadn't wanted to, and I'm glad you did.
Me too.
And I'll try to keep Pearl on the straight and narrow up on the freeways and give her some good directions.
You better.
And we're going to head south. We are, if you don't know about the Amazon affiliate, we've had a ton of people ordering stuff, but I haven't been talking about it much, and people have quit using it. If there's somebody you're following, and a lot of people use their Amazon affiliate money to get by on, to pay their bills on. We use it to take people out to lunch that do interviews with us. We don't use it for gas or nothing like that. So if you got somebody you follow that maybe needs the money, go ahead and use their account. But if you're not using somebody else's Amazon affiliate account, it's totally free money. It doesn't cost you anything extra. Click on our link down there and it takes you to Amazon and order your stuff, and we'll get a small 2 to 8% commission. You pay the same price. It's just money that Amazon don't get that we get, and we get to take somebody out for lunch. Right. And we have thoroughly enjoyed those lunches.
Absolutely.
And dinners. And I don't think anybody does the interview to get a free lunch, but it's kind of nice for us to get to know them a little bit better and help cement a friendship a little more.
Exactly. And it's free. That's the
it doesn't add anything to your cost.
It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cost the people that we interview anything, and we get to take them to lunch.
Yeah, and we get to eat for free.
Well,
so that's
true.
The upside of it. So anyway, that's the end of the video. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Folks. Okay, thanks, babe. As most of you know, our channel is mostly about retirement, living a full-time RV lifestyle, and just what in general are we up to. And making friends is one of those things that is probably the funnest part of the whole lifestyle. We love seeing the country, but meeting new people and making new friends is probably the #1 thing for us, and I think probably for a lot of you folks. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. If you hadn't subscribed to our channel and you're interested in retirement or the RV lifestyle, subscribe to the channel and keep the wheels rolling. Stay safe. We'll see you at the next exit. Bye-bye, folks.